Don't mind my voice, okay? I am recovering from a cold, okay? So my voice might sound a little crazy. So I am now at 13 chapters in my story, which I think is around 30,000 words. Not entirely sure, but that number might vary due to the fact that some of those chapters are missing some crucial things, but I will go back and, fix those during the editing phase. But for now, that is around the number. Now, I have done a bit of world editing in the beginning phases of my story to create the story that I have, but I want to change. So we're gonna do a little bit more world building today, okay? Or maybe not today, but I'm telling you today because I've went back and already added some stuff in yesterday and the day before that. Yeah, so I went back and I changed some stuff in my story where now my story isn't a single world story. They aren't just on one planet. It is a multi-world planet. So they're traveling planets, of course. So I took some inspiration from Star Wars and like Treasure Planet because I really love those stories, and I wanted it to be like that. I wanted to be able to travel planets. So that is the world building for today that we're changing a little bit, okay? The things that have changed, I had to go back and rewrite some basic information. It didn't change like the plot of the story or anything like that. It just changed kind of my perspective on the story, okay? We have the old world and we have the new world, okay? The old world is the world before the source came and affected everything. In that world, you had the basic stuff you had was Amora and then the ability to travel planets. That was the norm in the story. Okay, that's the norm in their world. The new world, we have the changes when the source came, which, include vagrants, Kamoy, and environmental changes. We have a bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to get into some of the environmental changes that we have had because of the source, which I think is like so cool. Yeah, I have you can't even see it. Oh my gosh. You have my document here. It's like, yeah, you can't see the brightness at all. But it is a document full of my changes that I have wrote, okay? The source essentially destabilized the laws of nature, okay? So some things that have changed are like, in certain areas there might be like gravity changing. So you could have floating, mountains and rocks and rivers and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. In different regions, time might work differently. So if you enter it and you're there for like a few minutes, it might be hours like outside of that. And then like basically like just terrain changes overnight. Like forests may be created or mountains and stuff like that. Okay. The source also would affect people's Amora. So in the old world, abilities were, normal and stable, and when the source came, it could mutate your ability. So let's say if you have like fire, okay, you can shoot fire, you can form it, you can manipulate it, all that type of stuff. The source may mutate your ability to now you can only do like sparks or something like that, or it could totally change your ability to be like water or wind or something like that. Like, it's not guaranteed to change your ability. It's just, it could happen. It happens to some people in the story. Okay. Abilities evolve in, unpredictable ways. Some people might lose their ability. Some people might gain abilities. It's just a lot of chaos going on with, Amora and stuff like that. Okay. So now how you travel through what I call the Twilight Belt, or the belt is what I want to call, space, okay, or the galaxy or whatever, which I think is pretty cool. So ways to travel. It's just, I have two specific ways that I like. So the basic way, of course, is traveling using ships, okay? I'll put ships on the screen to show you relatively what I want the ship to look like. We have variations of ships. We have one, that kind of looks like a regular airship or pirate ship, and then you have somewhat similar to like Star Wars type ships, which I want both. I love both of them. There is another way to travel too, is with using vagrants or wild vagrants in space, but that is probably a dangerous way. because you need to tame them and all this type of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. But they're like migrating vagrants. Some are really, really big and some can be small. The larger vagrants are probably the least hostile ones. It's probably the easier ones to travel with. But that's only a rare case. Most people don't really do that. They use ships for safety. Okay, so with all of these changes, all right, this is obviously going to change my countries in my story, and they are now going to become planets, okay? The planet that you start off with in the story, the first planet we're on, that planet is sort of the rundown planet. It's kind of the Gotham of my story, essentially. It is rundown, it's poor, there's a lot of crime, gangs and clubs and stuff going on around here. So of course this planet probably has majority of the bad people, or the shady people, I would say. Yeah. Next planet that we go to, this planet is, I would say it's the governing planet. It's where the government of the story is, you know, based in, it's located. They focus a lot on honor and justice, of course, even though they themselves aren't really that justly, okay? It's very prestigious, it's clean, you know. The next planet I would say is one of my favorite planets, okay? It is the Cyber City, or the Cyber Planet, okay? From the planet in the story is known as the permanent night planet, or the, you know, planet full of eternal darkness, okay? After the source came, it caused the planet to become just night, okay? So there's no daytime, which matches the cyber aspect of the city, because it's going to be filled of, you know, of course, lights and billboards and bright lights, all these things that make it bright. So it being darkness and then you have all these lights, it blends really well together, okay? Another planet in my story, which isn't really in this particular book, it will be mentioned in a different book, okay? It's mentioned here a couple of times, but it's not really relevant, okay? That planet is I would call it the racist planet. It's the people there hate Veldiani and they hate Amora, anything about it, okay? That planet is full of nothing but Anu, so they're just normal people. They have no powers, nothing. They hate anything that has to do with Amora, okay, which includes Veldiani. That planet is more focused on like your status. It's more of like, I would say, the royalty planet. It's similar to the governing planet, where they focus on honor and justice and all that, but in more of like a darker way, okay? They focus more on like your family relations and your status, stuff like that, okay? So those are pretty much my planets that are, or my countries that turn into planets now. One thing I also forgot to mention about the Twilight Belt, which is the space, is you can breathe in space. That's the difference. Or I think that makes my story kind of unique or whatever. So you can breathe in space, okay? After the source came, of course. I would say, like, the belt is kind of a 50-50 ground when it comes to, like, danger, okay? So when you're on a planet, it has its own problems and everything like that. Once you leave that planet and you go into space, then you're kind of out of the, I would say, the quote-unquote protective zone. So now you can, you know, run into wild vagrants and stuff like that. So that's probably one danger in the belt, which is the vagrants. And then the next danger would be, you know, the void. Okay, so you can breathe in space, you have these open ships and stuff like that, but if you do fall off the ship, okay, and you're not able to get back on the ship, you will probably fall into the void and then, you know, X-nay, okay? That is a danger when it comes to traveling space, okay? So yeah, that was just one thing I kind of forgot to mention. So now we are going to transition into Pinteresting. This is what I'm going to call it now. I'm going to bring you guys along to fix my Pinterest boards, okay? Because we're going to categorize all my planets, okay, into their own separate boards, because I have everything that has to do with my story it's in 2 different boards, which is really, really bad, because I got like over 6,000 pins in the board. So we need to fix that, okay? So let's go. Alright, so now I'm gonna try and do a little bit of writing, since I did all my Pinteresting. Though, like, I've kind of been struggling with some of the chapters in my story because, like, I just don't know what to do next. Like, I'm probably gonna end up working on my outline, which is probably, like, better, because I really need to figure out something, like, kind of crucial in the story for me to kind of move forward. But we'll see how that goes, because it's a struggle out here, okay? Alright, so I finished writing my outline completely out. I had to do it backwards, but this is the outline. Okay. I ended up like changing something because I am stuck a little bit on parts of my story, because right now I'm on chapter 13, so which is, you know, a part in the story where they're transitioning from one planet to the other planet. Okay, and there's some conflict going on between that. Okay, and it's supposed to lead to something, and I don't know what to do in between of that. So my main issue is coming up with because they're supposed to find somebody. They're in the story, they're currently searching for somebody, and my problem is, like, okay, what is that person doing? Okay, we're looking for this person. What is this person doing? And then if and when they find him, what is that guy's reaction? Okay, what is he doing? Okay, and I just can't think of anything. Okay, so, and I wrote a couple of ideas in the beginning, like, oh, maybe when they go to the planet, they're getting chased by somebody, and then the person that they're kind of trying to look for, whatever, kind of intervenes and saves them or whatever. And I was like, you know, Teo, my cat, yeah. But yeah, if this person is like saving them or whatever, and I was like, I don't really like that idea. And then there was a couple more, and I just couldn't think of anything. And then I finally thought of something, which I probably am gonna end up doing, that it end up, you know, following my whole outline and then to the end of the book, where I want there to be a cliffhanger. And I think I might do this idea because where they find this person or whatever leads to my cliffhanger, and I'm just like, it's actually a really good blend, and it makes the cliffhanger actually better, because then it leads my readers, you know, contemplating and thinking, like, oh, what's going on with this character and everything like that. So, you know, so I might probably gonna end up doing that, you know. I think that's a good idea. Okay, hey, yeah, guys, it's me again. Yeah, you can tell it's obviously the next day. Okay, I did finish up my last little bit of world building last night. I'm happy at the places that I'm currently at. If I need to add anything later on down the line in the story, I will do that, but for now, I'm happy, okay? Because my mom even suggested for my cyberpunk planet, because it's a planet in permanent darkness, okay, that logically it would make more sense that the citizens, you know, who live there lack melanin, okay, because they don't get any sun. So I feel like that makes sense, but at the same time, it would only work for the kids that are either 14 and under, because, you know, when the source came, it affected all that. So it would only be them. But I mean, it's a cool idea. I may or may not do that. It just depends. And then I tried to do my writing last night and that didn't really go well. I'm still kind of in the same place that I have been in, okay, which maybe means that I need to take a break or I need to move on to a different part. Now that I have my outline out, it probably will go a lot smoother, hopefully, because now I know where I want to go. Noki, hey, stop. My cat is tearing up stuff. Oh my gosh. Please, please. Oh my gosh. I need my carpet. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Okay. It was kind of fun making, you know, talking about my story is not something I do often. Obviously, this is like the second video, so it's kind of fun. Noki, are you licking my, what are you doing? I'm confused. Those are my slippers. Please, they're not fur. It's not fur. I know you may think it is, but it's not. I hope you guys, you know, return for the next video. My next video probably might be about, this is a probably, because I might come up with something else, but it might be about my basically, like, I guess my ideologies in the story, what I want in the story, what I don't want in the story, things that entail into my belief and why I write and how I write. So yeah, I'll make that the next video. Stay tuned for the next video, and please subscribe. I would love to help me get to 50 subscribers. Thank you, and bye bye.